is my pleasure to introduce your very own IACC America's president, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean Anderson. All right, Sean. Eye of the Tiger. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. So welcome everybody to Philadelphia. That's right, the city of brotherly love. And I too want to lead off with a congratulations to the Chubb Center and Daniel's team for playing host to the 2018 IACC Connect. I know you got a terrific few days planned for us, and it has been an awful lot of effort to get us this far. So we really appreciate everything that you're doing. As many of you may know, I lived here myself in Philadelphia several years back. So it's great to be back in town, home of Ben Franklin, the Liberty Bell, the home of Rocky, the Philly cheesesteak, but most historic of all, we may have seen it earlier, the home of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Great sports town among many other attributes. I'm going to jump right in by asking a question. Tough question to start with, but I think it'll make sense as we move forward. So here's the question. Can you imagine a meetings industry without IACC? So not an easy question right out of the gate, but reflect on that for just a minute. I saw that question in a different context a while ago, and I'll kind of explain that as we move through, but in preparation for today, I've given that an awful lot of thought. And truth is, I can't. I cannot imagine a meetings industry without IACC. And that's not because of some emotional attachment or, frankly, because it would be really poor form for the president to think that way. But more, I honestly can't. I can't imagine a meetings industry without all of the inventions and the contributions that you have all made on behalf of IACC. It is impossible for me. So I'll share a few examples. One of those is the introduction of natural light into meeting spaces, right? That was a completely original thought that we started. Bring the outside indoors and introducing elements of nature, IACC realizing that introducing the elements of nature changes the energy in the room. And now it is all the rage, right? Ergonomic, comfortable seating, right? That entire revolution started with IACC, the revolution toward customized seating. When you came into this meeting room today, all of you made a choice, even you in the StubHub seats in the back. You all made a choice as to what fits your best, your personal style. And that's a link that IACC introduced in an effort to create spaces that better keep the attention and the excitement of the adults in the room. Technology, one area we could go on and on. I'll pick a couple examples. The basics, right? Eliminate all the ambient noise and the distractions. Let's not put large competing loud groups in a ballroom. Instead, let's build flexible, dedicated spaces, which is what everybody's looking for today. Other technology innovations that were standardized by IACC. Things like the LCD projector. Seems simple enough now, but IACC was the first organization to say that this technology is not some ancillary piece of equipment. Think about all the equipment up to that point, right, and how it was used. But this is not some ancillary piece that's going to sit in the corner of the meeting space. If this is properly integrated, this is going to elevate meetings. It's going to provide facilitators with a tool for interactive, exciting learning, and presenters are going to have a world of opportunity to bring color and animation and global connection into the room. The list goes on. We could talk about food and beverage for a second, because everyone else is, right? Since day one with IACC, food and beverage wasn't just about calories and rubber chicken on a plate. It was a networking starter. It was about great food and great design and how that makes better meetings, better events, brain food. And it's a way to extend the learning or the event itself from the classroom into the public third spaces. Create a long tail of relationships, community, and networking. Truth is, IACC is and always has been on the leading edge. I contend you were disrupting long before this age of disruption. Now let me be clear what I mean. I think many of you were disrupting long before today's disruptors held their first job or graduated grade school, or in some cases before they were even born. I'm going to share a couple other fun examples. I don't know if you're familiar with GeekWire, right? So we go from the beginning of IACC time all the way up to just a few months ago here. So if you're familiar with GeekWire, they reported last fall about some cool new meeting space, right? It was built outdoors. You can see the quotes up there, where people can clear their heads in 2 enclosed tree houses. They're actually outdoors. Microsoft contributed to that article because it was their space, and they said, while some have moved toward the trend of creating indoor spaces that function as proxies for the outdoors, Microsoft has created something unique. A truly novel idea we had, right? I don't know how many of you have seen this space or if you saw the article, but it was a big deal when it came out. It was also in digital trends. Everybody was bragging about it. The tree houses were put together as part of this new system that allows people to meet in new and creative ways. And Microsoft, for that article, they added that people absorb the environment. It changes the perception of work and how it can be done. So maybe we were onto something, right? They called it some of the best meeting rooms ever, these cool new converged spaces built outdoors. Now again, this just opened last fall, and here's a funny story for you. Everything I just shared with you as far as those articles is concerned, completely spot on. Those photos that you see there, that's IACC meeting space. Treehouse meeting space that's been a part of IACC since it was created over 10 years ago. If you want to meet a real disruptor, seek me out afterwards. I'll introduce you to the guy because I think he's here in the room somewhere. Now, how about the food scene in meetings? We talked about it a little bit. Let's go into that a little more, right? Everybody, everywhere is on board with the important contributions that great food and beverage have toward a successful meeting or an event, right? It has now moved, for the culinarians in the room, center of the plate, right? Maybe it's food and technology are probably viewed as two top contributors for fun, successful events, which is why IACC introduced the copper skillet 15 years ago. It was a statement to the industry on the impact that great food could have, creating memorable, creative, fun, exciting, and effective outcomes, and a statement to the industry about the talent of IACC chefs who make it happen. Now, despite all this, it's fair to say, on occasion, we still encounter a meeting planner who isn't familiar with IACC, right? They don't know what that is, or maybe they're not familiar with the acronym, and that's what got me to thinking. Can you even imagine a meetings industry without IACC? Again, maybe somebody doesn't know the acronym or the colorful logo, but I assure you they know the brand, because the brand is defined as what you stand for. And what we stand for, what you do every single day, is what planners and meeting professionals passionately preach about as the most important keys to their success. Now, as a sidebar, don't be too offended that the meetings industry has borrowed so many of your great ideas. It happens all the time. My great ideas, if I ever have one, your great ideas, they get stolen all the time. But here's why they steal your ideas and they don't look back. Because it's brilliant. It's the right answer at the right time, brings maximum benefit, everybody loves it, your innovation gets plugged in, and in this case, worked into the meetings industry, and everybody runs forward with this great tool. Now here's the thing, right? If you're always innovating and you're always the idea person, everybody notices. And we know without question, we've talked about it, IACC community has always and continues to contribute many incredible meeting industry innovations. Proof is everywhere we look. We talked about several examples. Talk about the meeting room of the future, our global mentorship program, the IACC Green Star program, record attendance in 2017 at our regional events, direct meeting planner education attendance in the thousands in just the past year. That's IACC content delivered by IACC to meeting planners around the world every single day. It's why meeting planners from across the Mid-Atlantic are going to join us at the Franklin Institute tomorrow for an opportunity to network and spend time with the best and the brightest. Stock value of IACC is rising across the industry. Interest has never been stronger. I genuinely believe this year will be our strongest growth year, certainly in the Americas, the strongest growth year that we have seen in 10 years. The reason IACC value is rising is simple. Event planners and organizations are more reliant than ever on their venue partners to create strong, memorable, fun, creative experiences. Meeting planners have positioned you as co-owners of their overall success. Pretty strong testimony to your expertise. Now, I started this conversation a bit of a provocative question, a little bit of an attention grabber, right? And now I'm sure you see the way I do. The more you do an introspective on that question, IACC's contributions continue to lead the industry. Now, in closing, I do want to issue a few challenges because it's important to me and to all of us on the board. I'm going to introduce them in a minute, but we want you to make sure you get full exposure to all of this growth and excitement. So, challenge number one, get to your regional events. I'm going to introduce some of the leads. You're going to be able to put a name with the face. I told you record attendance in 2017. I project it's going to be even stronger in 2018. I think we're going to look back at it and say it was the best year ever. If you're not signed up for our monthly webinars, go back in and look what those are all about and do it. Sign up for one at least every single month. And before you leave Philadelphia, I challenge you to get 2 of your team members signed up for IACC's Global Mentorship Program. This doesn't have to be a current gen, next gen kind of a relationship, but an opportunity maybe for peer-to-peer, anybody at any stage in your career to set up with a global mentor and exposure to what's going on around the world. Fantastic opportunity. Right before I walked in, somebody mentioned if you just share with people, if they just simply leave their card or their name at the reg desk, there are people in this room who lead up that effort. They will find you before the end of the conference to help. Okay? So I want to move on to recognition time. I got a couple important things we want to share. So behind all this success and all of this activity, you got an incredibly hardworking and talented volunteer group. All right, specifically, I mean your board of directors. And when you knock it out of the park the way they are, you deserve to be recognized. So we're going to get some kudos out to the board, but we're going to do this, we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. We're going to go back to a Glisser poll, which I'll walk you through in a second. And then also we're going to show a short video. Now, the importance of the video for all of you, right? This is me coaching up the audience. I expect a more robust response when I introduce the board than even what you see in this video. So we'll get to that in a second. All right, so Glisser poll question number 1. I think we're going to show this up. Yeah, you can see it up there on the screen. So here we are, right? Beautiful golf resort conference center. And so there's the theme of our first question. Now, this is importantly high stakes to win the next annual IACC Golf Championship. So don't take this choice lightly, right? But you're going to play golf. You set up your tee time. And you have a choice to fill out your foursome. So who do you want in your foursome? And first, we've got Nancy, Paul, and Eric. Apparently, Eric is one heck of a golfer living there in Florida like he does. So we've got Eric twice. You're going to be busy. It's Eric first base, Eric second base, Eric third. Neil Gardner and Anna Hess. And then third up, we've got Creston and Brian Stapleton, Lori. Very important decisions you have to make here. So let's see, who would you choose? All right, everybody got your decision made? All right, let's see how the poll turned out. Looks like Creston, Brian, and Lori. Things are going to warm up a little this afternoon. Looks like you're playing some golf. All right, so the idea here is I just want to get the names of all the board members up here in lights, and we're just having some fun. So we've got another poll question. All right, so another very important decision you have to make here. So tomorrow evening, you make the mistake of letting the sommelier choose the wine for your table. Yeah, and of course they choose a $650 bottle of wine. The question is, who are you going to choose to invite to your dinner so they can pick up the tab? Now, I've eaten dinner with a few of these. If you want some coaching, I can tell you who not to invite. But Tim, Susan, Eric, Alex, Andrew, Jason, Cedric and Joe, Medi, Ken, Mr. Jeff Loeffler. Enough time, or you just want to open the $650? I think we have the wine? All right, so how do we do on this poll? Here, who's the winner, if you will? Oh, wow. Looks like a little louder. I don't think he heard you. Alex, are you here? We're going to send you the bill. You left you. So I don't know if congratulations are in order, but here comes the bill. All right, last question, just to see if you're paying attention. Now, here it is. Ready? Who's more likely to be sitting front row center, bright and early Wednesday morning? Are you reading ahead? Because he just crawled in from the pub. Sean Anderson, yours truly, or the British guy who grew up. Didn't you grow up in a? Yeah. All right. So I'm not plugging myself or Mark. You pick whoever you think. All right. I think we're ready. I'm interested, Mark, how this turned out. Wow. Yeah. Huh. So I wrote that part of the speech, just in case you're wondering, and you're welcome. Yeah, it is fixed. It is fixed. All right, so I told you about a video. I don't know if Cindy Novotny is in the room, but you got to get this guy on your circuit. This guy knows how to control a room. So we're going to show you a quick video. Little kid kind of leading his audience, if you will, through a parade. It'll make sense when you see it, but what you're paying attention to is the hand signal from the kid and the response from the crowd. We roll that video.
big as well.
I don't think any man should have that much power. I'm just saying. So I'm going to ask in a moment for the board to stand up, but you all get the point, hand signal, and then I expect a really enthusiastic, jumping crowd in appreciation for all the work they're doing. So if you could, if you're on the board of directors, could you stand up? Yeah! Eyes up front. All right, so also we've got some outgoing board members. Jeff, Ken, I know that Andrea is not here with us, but Jeff, Ken, are you here? Because if you are, you're about to get some applause. Are you here? Could you stand up? There you go. Thank you. All right, so hold that thought, because up next we're going to talk about our IACC ambassadors, right, in the different regions. We talked about the success they had in 2017, and so I'm going to call your name here in just a moment, and when I do, we're going to do this on an individual basis. So I call your name, just stand up, and you can see what property in that they're from when you read up here on the screen. Okay, so Sue, if you're here, there you go. Remember this kind of applause. Sarah? There we go. That's it. Cindy. We'll do a couple at a time. Rhonda and Alex. Okay. All right, Jessica and Blake. And I don't believe Kim's here yet, but Sylvia. There you go. All right, so all of you, fantastic job in that ambassador program for 2017. It was so strong that we're going to introduce some extra regions in 2018. And I'm going to introduce names again. If you could stand up, part of this new group that we're going to expand in 2018. You can see Anna. Anna are here. Anna Hess. There you go, Anna. Okay. And Ryan. Here we go. Okay. And Son. There you go. Thanks for everything you guys do. You're really, really making a difference with an IACC, and we appreciate it. So one last thing to do before I turn things over to Laura. I want to just take a moment here and remember one of IACC's true legends. As many of you know, we lost a member of the IACC family when Bob Pruitt passed away just a couple months ago. As we stand here in the midst of some of the most exciting times IACC has ever experienced, it's appropriate, more than appropriate, to look back at Bob's contributions and what he helped build for all of us. Bob's service to IACC extended over 2 decades, and we have Bob Pruitt to thank for helping lay the foundation of the brand that has become synonymous with quality, creativity, the best and the brightest. It only seems right that Bob was with our organization for most of our existence. Graduated with a master's by Stanford University, Bob was one of the most brilliant marketing and branding talents I have ever had the opportunity to meet. Certainly was passionate about IACC. He was a mentor to many of us. He was a multiple award winner of IACC. So I'd like to pause for a moment to reflect on Bob, his legacy, his family, and his contributions. Thank you. Now lastly, many of you may know that among Bob's many talents, he was an exceptional wine guru. Now, we at IACC have a way of attracting those types. I think you know who you are. But unlike the rest of us recreational experts, Bob was the real deal. He was a true wine aficionado, as in, the guy was co-founder of the Society of Wine Educators. He knew his stuff, which explains why, as Bob passed through the pearly gates, I am told, St. Peter could be overheard saying, "Welcome to the kingdom of heaven. Man, are we going to need more wine." So we'll miss you, Bob. Thank you.